Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of AGORACOM, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, we're happy to have back Vivek Rajgaria, President General Manager, as well as for the first time ever, Dr. Mo, Senior Vice President of Asia at POET Technologies. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol PTK, and for our friends in the US under POETF. For those of you new to the story, because we know more and more people, we've got two kinds of investors at POET. Either we've got all the diehard long investors who have been here almost from day one, but we know there are a lot of new investors. So what we like to do is give a layman's explanation about what POET does in order to understand just what it's doing. So to understand POET, you have to understand something first, and that's you and me. Every day we're binging Netflix, we're watching YouTube, we're shopping on Amazon, streaming on Spotify, and even Zooming meetings like this. And we do it all demanding the fastest speeds possible. But that's not all we're demanding. We want more out of all these engines, because while we're doing all this, we also want, for example, artificial intelligence to know our preferences, recommend the next product, movie, song, video, etc., and so on. And anything less than the speed of light is just unacceptable. All that computing power comes from servers. We know this: servers, data centers, and cloud computing. But what connects all of them? POET Technology brings light speed to the world through their their optical interposer platform, and they've had great success recently. Here's the press release: POET Technologies launches its product and optical interposer platform in China to critical acclaim. Guys, welcome to the show. Dr. Mo, great to have you on for the first time ever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
Before we get into the details of the success of these conferences, Vivek, I want to take an excerpt from the press release, from your quote. The companies that attended the live demos now know who POET is and the significant value that we can provide to them. We're already engaged with a few customers, numerous opportunities for increased customer engagement in China, including with some of the largest players. That's just an excerpt of the quote, because it was a pretty long one. I encourage everyone to read it. Give us the big picture, just how successful were these conferences in China?
So, George, thank you. Thanks again. I just want to give a little background. I believe our audience and investors have heard of OFC, Optical Fiber Conference, which is an international conference held in the US every year. So over the last several years, China has emerged as one of the largest optical ecosystems in the world, as developing technology, developing modules, systems, and supplying it worldwide. So over these years, the conference that started in China, and of course, Dr. Mo here will give us some more of her experience, but has grown to be of significant importance, not only in China, but worldwide and internationally. And to participate in that and to be recognized in that conference is highly meaningful, for any company, and especially POET. So POET being newer, we are coming out with our products, the optical interposer. Not everyone knew about it in China. Now with all these leading system, data center, module companies all attending there and experiencing and looking at live demonstrations of our products based on our platform was significant. And now I would say, at least in my experience of working in China's optical industry for 25 years, I would say this was a very, very turning point for us to be recognized there. And, I view this as us being over the Chinese wall. Okay, so we are there and we are recognized. Yeah.
Well, a lot of that credit goes to you, Dr. Mo. You participated in two leading optoelectronics conferences, exhibitions in China, at which you introduced POET to the China market, where most of the customers are, and demonstrated the company's technology across a wide range of products. if you can, give everyone a sense at home, describe the two conferences. The first one is the ICCSZ, and the other one is a CIOE. If you can, describe the magnitude of these conferences and who participates and attends at these.
Okay, yeah. So I think in mid-September, we have two big events in China. The first one is ICCSZ. So basically, there is a 2-day technical forum. And for this year, it's their 20 years anniversary to hold such a technical forum. So for this year, they have like more than 1,000 companies and audience attended the conference in different sections. And we have like over 60 talks, technical talks. And all these talks are done via invited speakers. And this kind of people are kind of executive for the technical companies in this optical industry. It's from the carrier, the China field carriers, from system and tier 1 module makers and different chip vendors in all over the world. So one of them is a poet. We have very honored to be invited to give a speech on the main day as well. And the second event that we attend is the CIOE, which is this is also their 21st year for holding such an exhibition. So CIOE was initially started with exhibition only, and after that they also adding a lot of technical discussions. It's mainly industry talks, not like university research, that kind of conference. And for this year, I think the attended audience is a much more over 1,000 people. And it was well received with all the demo that Poet provided for these two events.
What kind of customers? Give us a sense for, so that's a great overview because clearly it's an invitation-only event. The biggest and the best are invited. What kinds of customers specifically did you meet with? I'm not asking for all the names, but the type of customers, so investors can understand the profile.
So for customers who attended these two forums, they are basically the whole supply chain in the optical industry. They're from chip maker, packaging maker, module vendors, and system and carrier, who is the end user using for that. So for us, although Poet is a chip developer, but a lot of people like such an integrated technology, which they can integrate into their system, and even they can go directly to the carrier systems. So customer that visit our demo and talk to us, basically it cover all the whole supply chain. There's a different group of people coming in and from different angles. So some of them would like to partner with us along our product development. Some of them want to ask for sample for testing. And some of them want to form a strategy partner to work together with our projects to get their special products. So basically, it's really a very huge and broad interest from all the customers from the whole supply chain.
How did you guys get that interest? Because at one conference, you're making a presentation. At the other one, you're making a live demo, live demos. So how did each of those, obviously they went very, very well. How did they differ, and which one do you think was more important? I think the live demos must have had great reaction given what you've talked about in the press release.
Yeah, so for the ICCSJ, actually is the first 2 days, and the CIOE demo is follow up with the next 3 days after that. So in total, it's 5 days. So for the ICCSJ, we have a technical presentation, and at the same time, we have our most advanced 400G FR4 Interposer live demo in a conference room. So I think before all this event, in the China market, not that many people knows about Poet, but when we do the presentation, when people start to listening that Poet have developed such a great technology, which particularly solving a lot of technical headache currently happen in the industry. So people get their a lot of attention. So after the presentation, they all come to the room to see the live demo. So in the conference event, we only have one live demo. So after seeing that, people asking a lot of questions and generate a lot of interest for the next generation. So we told them that actually for the next 3 days during the CIOE period, we will have more live demos with 6 of them, which cover from the current very hot topic from 100G to 400G and the future co-packaging optics, the kind of future product that people are all working on. So that's how it came up that a lot of people interested and get to know and come to the live demos for the subsequent 3 days.
Yeah, I'd like to point out one thing, maybe Dr. Mo, is in the ICCSZ where we did the live demo, not many companies are given the opportunity to do a live demo, right? That is a very special, yeah. So maybe you can say a few words how we were privileged to do it.
Oh yeah, do explain why Poet was given the opportunity to do live demos, which is, I thought that was just standard. So that's great.
No, that's not the standard. And among so many years that I attended ICCSA, Poet is the first time for the privilege to have a VIP room just to hold our demo. So I think it's all started that for this year, when the organizer tried to invite speakers for form up this technical forum. So I told them that Poet is very interested. And we also would like to bring our key technology, the most latest product, to be shown to all the audience, which is not commonly happened in the past few years. So I told them that I'm sure and I have confidence that when all the audience see our demo, they will like it and they will open their eyes that actually silicon photonics can be used in this way and deliver it ready to the market, not just stay on paper or stay on talking presentations.
Yeah.
So that's why they agree and give this a privilege to us, and we was very honored about it.
This is for the ICCSZ, which is really a technical paper conference. CIOE, of course, others exhibit, but we were given the opportunity. And as Dr. Mo said, probably the first time ever, at least that I know of and you know of. So that was great, yeah.
Vivek, Dr. Mo kind of mentioned it, and you also allude to in the press release where you said the companies that attended the live demos now know who Poet is. So it's clear that you guys went in, I don't want to say a bit of an unknown entity, but a low profile, and came out. Is it fair to say with a significantly higher profile? Because you also got a customer commitment we want to talk about. But before talking about that, is it fair to say you've significantly increased the profile of Poet within the Chinese market and especially the attendees of these conferences?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, of course, we've been talking to customers. We've been, reaching out and describing our technology platform products over the last, few years. There's no question about that. But there's a limited reach you can have there. You can't get everywhere. This time it was a waterfall almost. You can say, where now we've made everyone in China, even though there may be some people who did not attend, but the news gets out because all key people in the optical industry and end users, as Dr. Mo said, attended and viewed and talked about, what our, technology platform is and what the products can come out. Absolutely.
What does it mean to you that Shenzhen fiber top technology committed to incorporate Poet's optical engines into its line of optical modules as soon as production of the optical engines are available? What does that mean to the company to get a customer commitment already?
So I'll let Dr. Mo say more, but few words here is it's immense. To have any customer, of course, we've been working with other customers already, names we cannot disclose, but this one we are able to. The fact that a customer is able to and sees that they can use our product, is significant. It's immense because it proliferates very quickly, even though, okay, let's say this is not a tier 1 module customer, but as a module customer that's able to and committed to using optical engine, that there is a clear proliferation here. I think it's immense. Yeah. Dr. Mo, you want to say?
Yeah. So I think in the normal way that customer taking our chip is that they will wait until that we have a sample tested, and after qualification, they were there to use it. But for this particular customer, fiber top, they are kind of can't wait. They like our technology and they would like to develop the module along with us. Means that even though we are not yet finished our qualification, they will start their module design and do the module qualification together with us. This will enable them to shorten the whole development cycle, and they will be able to launch their product to the market much quicker than the normal way. And actually, after these two events, there's many customers who didn't really attend the conference or attend the show. They're approaching me and asking time slots for more technical discussion. They want to engage further, and kind of similar to FiberTop, they will even wanted to have a more strategic partnership. So the interest not only hold at the two events, actually we also receive a lot of requests after the events as well.
Dr. Mo, is it fair to say that the level of interest you POET received, you received, even surpassed your expectations, or were you expecting this level of success because you knew once the market saw your technology, it would be very widely accepted, or it would be very well accepted, well received?
I will expect that after this event, we will receive lots of requests, but it's also surprise to me that there was a lot of tier 1 module makers that actually approach us by themselves, because initially they are so big and so famous, which I think that it will be difficult to get their engagement by themselves. But surprisingly, they're approaching us after the event, and they are kind of quite aggressive that they want to go to the next step.
So Vivek, it sounds like Dr. Mo's given you a pretty good pipeline coming out of this, with some pretty, it sounds like some pretty significant players. I know you can't talk about them specifically, but other than the company FiberTop, where we talked about, how are you going to follow up here? What does the follow-up process look like for the investors, so they know what the outreach is like, what timelines would be like? What would you go back and do live demos again? What does that whole cycle look like?
So you know, one is we have now a flood of requests. You know, companies want to talk to us and all. Of course, we have to be smart about it, right? We want to make sure we don't take on everything from everyone, obviously. So we will be, and being in the industry, you know, Dr. Mo's been in the industry a long time, so have I. I actually did spend 2 months in China. I returned a few weeks ago, unfortunately, could not stay for the CIOE, which was delayed by 2 weeks because of visa reasons. But you know, we have to be smart. We have to make sure we are engaging with the right companies and the right priorities and orders. And of course, Dr. Mo and all of us are going to be extremely busy, which is a good thing as we are rolling out our samples, getting the samples in customer hands, and having Super Photonics joint venture. The significance of that again comes out because with the resources and the capability within the China market to make these engines is very important. You know, we can have very close interactions with many of these customers.
Dr. Mo, you kind of touched on it earlier, that there was the level of interest spanned from custom development to just using, you know, POET's standard products. Is that a 50-50 split? Is it more one way than the other? What is that? What is the level? What does the interest in the products look like?
For example, like tier 1 module makers, they're not only interested with our standard product, they also want us to discuss for the next generation. So that will be more strategy kind of partnership. So I think after the show, the next step that we move on is that we need to start shipping samples to customer, which is what everyone is asking for right now. And the whole POET team from different sites, we are all working very hard to deliver all this to customer soon in the very near future.
Last question for you, Dr. Mo. Would you say that the conference surpassed? How happy are you with how everything developed from the conference, from preparing before to the presentations, the demonstrations, to the reaction from the audience and customers? How happy are you with how it all came together?
To be honest, initially I was thinking that after the 2 events, I can have a bit of rest. But after that, by receiving all the requests and interest from different customers, actually we are even now more busier than before preparing for the demos. So the whole team actually like trying to really ship up sample to customer just to tell people that seeing is better than talking about, and receiving samples to the customer hand is better than seeing demos in our lab and in the conference room.
Vivek, last word to you. How happy is corporate with how well the two conferences went for POET and what it means in terms of keeping you guys busy for the next 3-6 months?
So I would say, Dr. Mo, well said, on your comment here. I had to come back. I was planning to stay there for the conference. I had to come back. I was a little bit nervous, but I knew I was leaving it in the hands of Dr. Mo, in good hands there. But definitely surpassed my expectations. I would say from POET as a whole, I would say we are very grateful to Dr. Mo and the Super Photonics team, and very impressed by the accomplishment they've made in this demo, successfully doing a live demonstration of 6 products in an early, product company is significant. Even major companies that, have been in the industry for decades are not able to pull off 6 live demos. Okay, so I don't know if our audience can appreciate that, but to me, this is just phenomenal.
Well, that's why these interviews are so important, because we wouldn't have known about the 6 live demos and the fact that no one's ever been, or very few people have ever even been allowed to do one, and that you guys pulled it off. By the way, Vivek, for the shareholders at home, is there any way that they would be able to see these demos? Were they recorded in a certain way? Is that something that we can show the investors at some point in the future, or do you keep it? Is it still something you're not want out in the general public?
No, definitely. It's a general exhibition, so everyone is welcome. I believe, Dr. Mo, you have a recording, video recording, and we'll figure out the way to make it available to our whoever wants to come and see it. So through the video. Yeah.
All right, that would be great, and we'll follow up with that, because I think it'd be fantastic now for the shareholders and potential investors to watch these demos themselves. Naturally, it'll need a couple of you to walk people through as to what they're seeing, but I think that'll be very important. But we'll leave it there. Dr. Mo, it was great having you on with us for the first time. Your reputation precedes you, and congratulations on a job excellently done at these 2 conferences, and I can't wait to have you back on again.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Vivek, as always, thanks for joining us. We know that shareholders always appreciate the fact that despite how busy you guys are, you take the time to do these kind of interviews to really help everyone understand. Can't wait to have you back on, because from the sounds of it, it sounds like you're talking to other parties. You weren't able to mention names, but hopefully those conversations will turn into something more and turn into a reason to have you back on.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a pleasure, George, as always. Thank you.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to both Dr. Mo, Senior Vice President of Asia, and Vivek Rajgaria, President General Manager of POET Technologies, trades in Canada under PTK, and for our friends in the US, under POETF, POETF. For those of you new to the story, because we know that the OGs, they understand the company inside out, and they love what they're seeing. But for those of you new to the story, because you're seeing more and more great headlines come out of them, you got to do your due diligence, get to AGORACOM, and make sure you use the link that's there, and you can see it right above both Dr. Mo and Vivek, poet-technologies.com. Get to the website to do your deep dive due diligence, because they had great success at these conferences, and that bodes well for the future. Don't say we didn't tell you so. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great AGORACOM small cap video.